Another team comes to Utah. Another team goes down. The Jazz are hot right now. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys, before we get into this, let's just give a shout out to Prize Picks. Prize Picks is sponsoring the show, and if you go to prizepicks.com, if you haven't already, you sign up using promo code HoopsNerd, that one right there, use promo code HoopsNerd, they will match up to $100. I had the over on Sexton because it's easy money, man. He does it every single time. Come on, get in focus, camera. Anyways, go to prizepicks.com. It's a lot of fun. You pick the over and unders on rebounds, points. Basically, if you just go with the Jazz, basically bet the over on Sexton. They had it at 19.5. That is easy choice right now. And then basically, if you're against a weak rebounder on the other team, bet the under. Utah is an incredible rebounding team. And that's what I got to remember every single time. I didn't trust my gut. And so I got the over on Sexton. I missed on my other. But anyways, go to prizepicks.com. It's a lot of fun. You will support the channel. Anyways, let's get into this. The Utah Jazz crush another team. Another team comes into Utah. Another team gets demolished. I mean, basically, if you are a bad defensive team like the Indiana Pacers, you are going to get smashed by the Jazz right now. They are playing at such a high level. It's scary. Look at this. The Indiana Pacers were a 121.6, the number one offense in the NBA right now. Yep, that's right now. Holy smokes. And the Jazz just demolished them defensively, really. That's where you get the impressive play from Utah. Look at that. 105 points for Indiana is incredible defense. So let's see. Let me pop out the super chat here. It's not showing. All right, there we go. So just impressive stuff from this Utah Jazz team, who are absolutely crushing teams. And it's both offensively and defensively. So fantastic stuff. The Pacers almost punted on this. It was a back-to-back. They had like 3 players resting. Halliburton's out. So this was kind of a, this wasn't the hardest win for the Jazz, but they did show that they are just going to crush you. If you don't bring your A team, you are not going to win. This Utah Jazz team is legit, and it's starting to look like the Jazz aren't even going to be playing in the play-in. They're probably going to be in the, it depends on what playoff seed they get. I don't know if they're going to get to home court advantage, but I think you can argue that they can get to the point where they're playing in like the 6th seed. Why not? If they just never lose a game again, which is kind of what it looks like. I mean, the fact that they just don't lose basketball games, it's a pretty good strategy if you ask me. But anyway, there's nothing to talk about the Pacers. They got absolutely obliterated and embarrassed. We do got to mention Simone Fontecchio tonight. He hit the goal. He's a goal hitter. I think that's 2 games in a row. He hit the goal, 2 threes made. Good job, Simone. Simone played 24 minutes tonight. One thing that's really impressive with Simone is the defense. It's fantastic. And if he's knocking down these threes as well, spreading the floor and not turning the ball over, he did turn it over just once, but that's pretty good. But this is an impressive number from Utah. Just 14 turnovers. Obviously, less would be better, but this is not up into the upper teens where it typically is with the Jazz earlier in the season. So this is a great sign. The Jazz just not turning the ball over as much. And so anyway, Simone Fontecchio hitting shots. He's definitely a guy that can come in and out based off of what you need. But just nice to have Simone Fontecchio on this team. And the defense from him is fantastic. The story of this game was Lauri Markkanen. Look at this. 32 points in 28 minutes. 32 points on 15 shots. He takes 10 free throws. He is just dominating games. He is going to the rim. My favorite quote from Rick Carlisle, if you don't remember, he coached Dirk Nowitzki, and Rick Carlisle said pre-game that Lauri Markkanen is the closest thing he's seen to Dirk Nowitzki since Dirk Nowitzki. It's really great, and there are some comparisons. I mean, Bill Simmons nickname for Lauri Markkanen is Discount Dirk, and it's pretty good. But it makes sense. He's 7 feet tall, just like Dirk. He can score over top of a lot of guys. He doesn't quite have the height on his release like Dirk did, who could just get his shot over anybody. but it's pretty close. And he's a better three-point shooter. Just the fact that he can shoot 50% from three. I mean, look at this game. 66% from the field, 2 for 4 from three, perfect from the free throw line. He also grabs 10 rebounds and throws out 3 assists. The rebounding from Markkanen is one of the things that's so impressive. He rebounds like an elite level big, which he is. I mean, so you can have him play the 4. You can even have him play at the 5 a little bit with what we've seen him do guarding we saw him guard Anthony Davis and shut him down. I mean, Markkanen is playing at an all NBA level right now. It is amazing. And so you just got to give him flowers. And the thing that was so nice and what's crazy about this Jazz offense, and it's why if you are not a good defensive team, you are going to get munched on by this Jazz team. They are going to take you, they are going to put you in the fryer, they are going to fry you up, and they are going to on you. And that's what Lauri Markkanen did. He got the ball in the post. There were so many times where the Jazz moved the ball around, got Nembhard guarding Markkanen, which is like a foot difference, and then Markkanen just would big boy him. But then it didn't even matter. He was going up against like Jalen Smith, who's a legit 6'10", and he was just big boying Jalen Smith. I mean, Markkanen is playing at such a high level right now, and we're seeing a little bit more with his handle. I mean, if he can take his game to another level, it's basically going to be with what he can do handling the ball and passing it. But look at this, 3 assists. He's moving the ball better than he was earlier this year. Earlier this year, the first 20 games, it was a problem. Remember, he went 7 games in a row at one point earlier in the year where he did not get a single assist, not a single one. Forcing shots, not trusting everyone like probably should have. Now this Jazz team is playing with trust with each other. The lineups have fallen into their rightful place, and they are crushing teams and moving the ball. Markkanen looks as good as anybody in the league right now. 32 points, 10 rebounds, just fantastic. John Collins deserves a lot of credit for his play as well. He plays 20 minutes tonight, but 10 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. The 3 wasn't falling for him tonight, but it didn't really matter. This Jazz team also runs 10 deep and allows Collins to just play at a high level when he's on the floor. So if he plays 15 to 25 minutes, which is typically the range he is in, he can go hard and play hard and go up, get the rebounds, shoot the ball, drive, do all those things that expend energy, because guess what? You only have to play 20 minutes. It goes by fast. And so when he's on the floor, he's giving all he's got, and it's fun to see. Collin Sexton, look at this. 30 points in 24 minutes. Like I said on my prize picks, I bet the over on Sexton. They had him at 19. It is easy money right now. 30 points. Fantastic. 4 for 5 from 3. That's crazy. The efficiency tonight from Sexton. He was absolutely just destroying this Pacers team. Honestly, just crushed them. There's just not, I mean, we've talked about this. We talk about it every show. The consistency with Sexton now is unbelievable. Yeah, is he perfect? No, he's not making every perfect play. Is he a little undersized defensively? Yes. But man, he plays big. You know, when he's going up on those rebounds, sometimes he just gets up in the air. He will go after anybody. He is not afraid of any moment. That was my favorite part about the Laker win, is Collin Sexton was up for it. He was not afraid of D'Lo and the trash talking and the bad officiating in the first quarter, first half. And he just absolutely goes at it. And so I'm just a big fan of Collin Sexton and what he does and what he brings. The unselfishness. He scores with efficiency. He moves the ball within the offense now. He was not moving the ball within the offense before. You know, he would score with efficiency here and there, usually more often than not, but he was not playing within the offense. Now he is. And at shooting guard, and yeah, he's a little undersized at shooting guard, but he can score on anybody. His first step is crazy, and he knows how to use his size to get leverage on bigs. He knows angles. Like, he just has such an innate knack for getting to the basket, getting an edge, getting separation. He uses his body incredibly, where he's using his body and extending his arm and scoring. He's just incredible that way. Yeah. Now, the Jazz at some point will make the playoffs. They really do seem like they're going to make the playoffs at this point, and they're going to run into some issues where the size might be an issue. But for now, Collin Sexton is just crushing teams, and this Jazz team is beating good teams. I can't say enough. Collin Sexton and Lauri Markkanen is quite the duo, quite the efficiency monster for this Jazz team. It's amazing. In fact, now that I want to talk about that, I do want to look at, um, let's just look at, so really the date of infamy for the Utah Jazz is December 13th. And then let's just do today, and let's run this and see where we're at with the Jazz. Offensive rating at look at that. So from December 13th, when things really turned around for the Utah Jazz, they are now the number 6 offense in the NBA. They are munching on teams. They are just absolutely destroying their competition. Now, I'm excited. Who's excited to click the button? I'm excited to click the button because I want to see what the defense is doing. Let's see. Oh, man, I thought it would be top 10. Dang it. But they're at number 11. So right now the Jazz have the number 6 offensive rating in the NBA since December 13th. And they have the number 11 defense. So it's not just offense. They are defending well. You'd like it to be in the top 10. If you're top 5, that makes you a championship leader, contender for sure. Obviously, the Jazz aren't there yet. But, man, they are a really good basketball team right now. Number 6 in the NBA. Look who else is up here. Clippers, who are about as hot as the Jazz are right now. Bucks, Celtics, Thunder, Pelicans, the Utah Jazz. Pretty awesome stuff. And then defensive rating, this is hard to do because these are good defensive teams. Look, there's Rudy and the Minnesota Timberwolves. You've got the Thunder, who are awesome. The Celtics. I mean, these are good. Oh, look at that. Memphis Grizzlies. That's crazy. By the way, if you want to have a nice night, go look at what the score was. The Memphis Grizzlies have like 7 active players, 2 two-way. They have like 9 players they can actually play, and 2 of them are two-way contract guys. It would be as if the Jazz were completely relying on that Jason Preston, who's playing for the G League right now. It's crazy. And they just beat the Golden State Warriors tonight. Freaking awesome. Nathan, you $4.99. Thank you so much. It's my dad's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday to your dad. Tony will be 64 and is a lifelong Jazz fan, hoping Jazz can get a championship in our lifetime. He loves the channel. Well, you know what? To Papa you, happy birthday. I hope it's the best birthday you've ever had. And like you, Nathan, and your dad, I sure hope it's in my lifetime too. I do not want to be dead. My ghost will come to the Delta Center and we'll watch it. You can bet on that. I'm breaking whatever heaven rules there are out there. I don't care what. I'm coming to this planet. I am going into that stadium and I'm going to try to help the Jazz win. I'm pulling trunks down. I'm knocking over water bottles. I'm blowing on the ball near the rim. I'm doing what it takes. I'm going to do my part as a ghost to win the game. And everyone else should as well. We're not going to get too morbid here. But all of you need to be a ghost at some... Well, no, not need to be. When you are a ghost, you need to help out the Jazz, okay? Why don't we have more ghost power? Right? There's got to be... I mean, are there rules against that in heaven? I don't know. But anyways, I don't know why that went there. But happy birthday to your dad, Nathan. Thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate it. All right. Where were we? What were we speaking on? Collin Sexton. Let's go to Chris Dunn. I love Chris Dunn. He takes 3 shots. He does 6 assists, and he's so impactful on the game. He really is so great. Let's see. I'm lost my spot here. 2 for 3 from the field, like I said. He just stuffs the stat sheet. 2 rebounds, 2 steals, 1 block, and he's just the type of guy you want on the floor because he just gets you buckets in like that little floater shot. He moves the ball to the right people. He does not care about flash. He cares about winning. And that's basically the name of the game for this Jazz team is winning. They are doing what it takes to win. Will Hardy had an interesting quote tonight. He said he saw some slippage from the Jazz in some aspects where they could be better. Too much ISO at times, which we saw one shot from Collin Sexton where it's like, Collin, get the ball out of there. But I mean, it's nice that the coach is worried about it because as Jazz fans, we're just like over the moon. It's nice that Will Hardy is still just like, nope, we are not going to slip. We are only going to get better. Like, at what point does Hardy just go like, we're happy? Is it when like you've just massacred every single player and like I love Will Hardy. He is incredible. He deserves coach of the year, to be honest. In fact, before we move on to everyone else, by the way, shout out Lauri Markkanen tonight. I had to bring on the Lauri Markkanen shirt, but I think that Will Hardy deserves real consideration for coach of the year, considering they started 7-16. This team started 7-16, and now look where they're at. They're 22-20, and they are almost out of the lottery. That's crazy. They are 9-1 in their last 10. They have won 6 in a row, which is the longest winning streak now in the NBA. Freaking cool. And the best record in the last 10. It is unbelievable what the Jazz are doing. In fact, let's just start doing playoff watch. Playoff watch, I almost NBA.com. And let's go to the standings here and let's just see. So Utah wins again. They have now won 6 in a row. This is getting kind of bonkers. The Jazz are only a half game back of Phoenix. Who predicted that? Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, who needs them? Utah is now 6 in a row, 9-1, gaining ground. Dallas, I can't remember who won. Doesn't really matter, but the Pelicans and the Mavericks played tonight, and they are 24-17. So Utah right now is 2.5 games back of Dallas and New Orleans. So they've got a lot of ground to make up, and they're playing pretty decent. I mean, they're playing above 500 ball. So to catch up, you've got to have a crazy win streak like the Jazz have going right now. I mean, think about this. This win streak right here, 6 wins in a row. They were at 16-20. It's crazy. The Jazz's next game, in fact, I'm curious. So anyways, 2.5 games back of the 6th seed. And in fact, let's not just stop there. 23-16. That just means basically 3 games back. I mean, 2.5 games out of the 5 spot. That's crazy. You know, you are 3 games back of holding the 5 seed. Isn't that bonkers? That is crazy. So anyways, this season is getting incredibly fun. A lot of, I can't get over this. All right, so let's see. So we've done that. Let's go to the games here. Let's see what the next game holds for the Jazz. Let's see. We are, what day is it? Monday? Happy Martin Luther King Day, by the way. Martin Luther King. So the Jazz don't play tomorrow, thank goodness. Wednesday. Where are we, Jazz? Come on. There we go. The Golden State Warriors. At home. Oh, wait, no. Wait, let's see. Where is this? Delta Center. Delta Center, baby. The Warriors are terrible. Utah should be able to beat them. Wouldn't that be fun to just smash the Warriors, who now have Draymond Green back, and they just lost to the Memphis Grizzlies. How pathetic. But anyways, really cool to see. This Jazz team has a chance to just become one of the best stories in the league this year. It's crazy what they're doing. All right, let's go to the bench. Jordan Clarkson did not have his best night. He's quietly slumped the last 2 games. 46% from the field, 0 for 3 from 3. But didn't matter all that much. He played good enough. Walker Kessler, was nice to see him play better tonight. He just impacted the game a little more. I know the stats don't really show big time numbers, 4 points, 5 rebounds, but look at this, 5 blocked shots. It's just nice to see, because last game we talked about it. It was not a good. It was not good. It was really bad, actually. And so to see Walker Kessler bounce back from getting bullied by the Lakers and to play this well tonight is really nice to see. So Walker Kessler, good job by him to just play a little more dominant. I know it's against a short-handed Indiana Pacers team, but you'll take it. You want him playing at a high level, and that's what he did. I don't know what to think of Walker Kessler's season. It's pretty weird, and it got really weird because of Steve Kerr. I would love to see the Jazz just demolish stupid Steve Kerr. I want to see Walker Kessler have a big-time game against them, and Steve Kerr. It would be really satisfying, actually. But I just want to see Walker Kessler continue to develop. I don't know what to really think about his season. I think his floor right now is just an elite backup center. And I think he's a starting caliber center for most teams in the NBA. Like, he could start from a lot of teams and they'd be very happy with what he does. But there is a tiny bit of a ceiling of what he can be if he can't develop that shot. And also with kind of the edge he brings. I mean, if Walker Kessler was out there just absolutely bloodthirsty, crushing guys and just absolutely dominating, then he could probably force his way into the starting lineup, but he's not really doing that. And so at worst, he's going to be a nice backup center for the Jazz for a long time. Um, and at best, he kind of develops a 3-point shot and becomes kind of the starting center of the future. It's just going to be interesting to see. I think him and Keyonte George, I see comments, tweets at me about them. This is his second season. And I think we have to allow Walker Kessler a little time to develop. He's played so well from the get-go. We forget that he's still really young, still new, and he's coming off USA basketball, which was a bad experience. And so it's okay to let him kind of develop. And I don't want to put him in a box too early of what he is. What he is right now, at worst, is a high-level defensive center who's very efficient at the rim and does a lot of things really well and starting caliber, which is great. At worst, he's kind of a situational big because maybe this 3-point shot just never really happens. His free throw shooting stays bad, so he's more situational. And in those situations, very good, especially against specific and certain matchups. But there's a limit of what you can do in the playoffs because of the shooting, basically. The free throw shooting and the 3-point shooting, So, but it's okay. We need to give Walker Kessler time, and I'm sure the Jazz are perfectly happy with what Walker Kessler is doing. He just needs to be allowed to develop, just like Keyonte. Levon Panhurst, $4.99. Thank you, my friends, so much. Thank you for these donations. You guys are incredibly generous. For every win, I'll pay a super chat on this channel. Well, I hope the Jazz win every game. I live in Sac, so I can't watch every game, but this channel keeps me up to date. Well, you know what, Levon? Thank you so much for the donation, and I'm always just honestly humbled that people come and watch this show. I appreciate it. I love this team. You guys love this team. It's a lot of fun, and it's going to be a cold day and you know where when they take this channel away from me. Absolutely. So thank you so much, Levon. I appreciate you so much. Art Vandelay, I've made that comp too. He is very similar to Zubac. He really is. They're very similar. And Zubac is a starting center on a championship contender in the Clippers. Absolutely. It's a great comp. And I think Walker can be a little bit better than Zubac, but he's very similar. He's a better defensive big, but they're pretty similar in a lot of ways. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think some Jazz fans, because he was so good in his rookie year and, Rudy looked so bad in his first year, and a lot of that was because of the hurt back and things, that we're like, holy smokes, do we have Rudy 2.0? And in some ways we do. I mean, he's not Rudy Gobert caliber, but he's like Rudy Gobert light. But he does have a little better touch around the rim and things like that. So he's a little more playable in some situations, I guess. But Rudy shoots better at the free throw line. So he's got to figure out the free throw line, and it would be nice if he could develop the 3-point shot, especially from the top and not just the corner, but we'll see. But you know what, if he's just Ivica Zubac and he plays situational like Zubac does, there's nothing wrong with that. And you can pay him 8 to 10 million a year, and you put your money elsewhere into Markkanen, and hopefully Keyonte turns into an all-star and all these types of things, and you put your money in those different areas. And it's great. Let's see. Ochai Agbaji, I think we got to say the same thing, because Ochai comes with Kessler, and you just got to be patient. And it would be, obviously, everyone wants Ochai to be just this lights-out 3-point shooter, and I think there is a situation where he does become that. But it's not quite happening. And we talked about this last show. I mean, Ochai's got to start hitting shots at some point. He doesn't take a ton, but he does do enough in these other areas where I think you just got to be a little bit, defensively, he's been showing great things the last, in this win streak. Ochai's been playing great defense. He plays 23 minutes tonight, and it's a lot of it because of his defense. Look at that. 1 block. He does, let's see, who is this? 4 rebounds, 1 block, but he's not stuffing the stat sheet. And I'm a little more worried about Ochai than Kessler, I guess. But I do think there are some situations where probably if you can get Ochai to become a little bit, you just need him to become a more efficient 3-point shooter, and if all Ochai does is knock down threes and defend and rebound and get out in transition and things like that, then that's awesome. But yeah, the 3-point shooting needs to come along, just the shooting in general. Otherwise, the Jazz, this draft, the Jazz looks like they're going to convey, which is incredible. But they have 3 picks next draft, which is why I do think, and let's talk about it after we get through everyone. I mean, there's going to be 3 guys coming on the Jazz, and 2025 is a good draft. And if the Jazz get lucky, let's say the Cavs or the Wolves have just a crazy year, like let's say the Wolves get some injuries and Rudy's back problem comes back, and all of a sudden the Jazz get pretty lucky and maybe win. Oh man, I don't even want to talk about it. But obviously it's the Cooper Flag draft. It's the Ace Bailey draft. There's 2 guys already that are looking like surefire 1 and 2, and oh my gosh, if you get lucky, really quickly, someone like Ochai starts falling out of the lineup. Because although I have to say, there is always a position on your team for someone like Ochai Agbaji, because he is pretty big. He's so athletic. He does defend. You just want that 3-point shot to come along. So, you know what? Let's give him some grace, give him some time. I think he'll probably go to Summer League again, and play with Sensabaugh and things like that. And it would be nice to see him. They really pushed him as like a handling the ball last Summer League, and it didn't quite go perfectly. And I just think Ochai needs to be in the Ray Allen school of shooting 1,000 threes, 1,000 makes a day from 3, and just become that lights out shooter, And I think he can. It's just, I would like it to happen sooner or later, but patience is the key for Ochai. Now, Keyonte George, I'm getting so excited. I really am. And Kelly Olynyk, let's just really quickly talk about Kelly Olynyk, which he had a pretty standard Kelly Olynyk night, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. He missed some easy ones tonight. He was just 1 for 3. And there we've talked about the weird thing with Olynyk and passing the ball, and it was happening again tonight. It's just kind of weird. He just deferred, Olynyk makes a point to go to Jordan Clarkson. Keyonte George defers to him. So Jordan, it's with this bench unit, it is the Jordan Clarkson and Kelly Olynyk show when they're on the floor. But it was so nice again to see Keyonte George come out and just absolutely crush this, undermanned Pacers team. 6 for 11, 54 from the field, 3 for 7 from 3, 42%. He took 5 free throws. That's the thing that's getting so impressive, is that he's learning angles. Tony Jones tweeted it, and it was clear. Thurl made a comment on the broadcast that I just thought was incorrect. There was a play where Keyonte goes to the basket. Like Kelly Olynyk had set a screen on his initial on Key's guy, but Kelly Olynyk's man was still behind was kind of caught in no man's land, and Keyonte saw the angle that if he goes, that player is going to get screened off just by Olynyk being in the area, and he goes to the rim and he gets fouled and he gets free throws. There's little things like that where he has such a knack, and is he 20 years old, I believe? He's so young, 20 years old. He just gets it. And, he's got to work on, there's a few times every other game where he'll have one of those pick 6 turnovers, which you need to do better at. Although I think some of that goes away if he doesn't have to defer so much. But man, the 5 assists, 19 points, 5 assists. He is looking like the steal of the draft based off of where he was picked, 16, and he's looking like one of the 5 best rookies in this draft. It's amazing. What an absolute steal for the Jazz. And let's see, did we talk about everything? Yeah, so let's talk about trade deadline. I tweeted it. I think my prediction is that the Jazz will likely trade Jordan Clarkson and Kelly Olynyk. I think they would like to take advantage of those contracts. And those are players that I don't know if they see them long term. I mean, there are reports out there that Sexton could be traded as well, but he's playing so well that I don't know if the Jazz want to, unless the Jazz really do want to be bad next year. And who knows? Maybe they do. Maybe they want to figure out how to lose a lot of games and build a core of Lauri Markkanen, Keyonte George, Taylor Hendricks. I guess you can put Walker Kessler in there. I guess you can put in Ochai Agbaji, but player 1, 2, and 3 from the 2025 draft, and then that's the team, you know. And then Art Vandelay, I would love to see the Jazz run him the 2 with Dunn. I wouldn't mind. I want Chris Dunn on the team just because he's such a good leader. Even if he doesn't play a single minute, I want to pay him millions of dollars to just be a leader in the locker room, especially when the Jazz have 3 players in the 2025 draft. Now, another prediction. So those are who I think, and why would they trade Jordan Clarkson and Kelly Olynyk? Well, Jordan Clarkson is playing extremely well now that he's in a 6-man role, but we're starting to see him taper off again. He can be incredibly streaky and can go into really bad slumps, and the Jazz lose games. And I think Jordan Clarkson's probably at his peak value right now that he's ever going to be. And what it does is if you trade Jordan Clarkson, it puts the ball in Keyonte George's hands more. And it's not necessarily just putting the ball in his hands more. It's allowing him to run the offense. It's allowing him to run pick and rolls and things like that. And so I think that's one reason why you do that. And you just let Keyonte George play and run the offense. It also allows Ochai Agbaji to soak up some of those minutes. Chris Dunn is only playing like 15 to 25 minutes a game, so you can run him a little more. Collin Sexton, look at that, 24 minutes. You can play Collin Sexton 30 minutes. You know, you've got plenty of minutes to spread out. You don't have to run this 10-man rotation like the Jazz are doing. And what it does is allow them to develop. And then the other guy is Kelly Olynyk. Now, why trade Kelly Olynyk? Well, one, I don't love that Kelly Olynyk and Jordan Clarkson are taking away development from Keyonte George. But the other guy they're taking development from, and it's not their fault, they're playing well, is Taylor Hendricks. Taylor Hendricks looked good in his minutes when he was getting time because of Jazz injuries. And I think what the Jazz are probably going to do is they want to convey that pick. I think unless someone comes and, you know, we've seen the reports, and there was another report today, it came from Kevin O'Connor talking about Lauri Markkanen, that the Jazz asking price for Markkanen has gone up even more. He's available if you want to pay the price, but the price is just, you know, pretty astronomical. Just like, are you serious? You're giving us Steph Curry for Lauri, you know, like crazy. And I don't even know if the Jazz would do that, to be honest, with how old Steph is. I don't know. That's a good question, actually. That's a good debate. But I think Lauri Markkanen is younger and fits more of a long term, and he wants to be in Utah. You can have Lauri Markkanen on the Jazz for 10 years, you know? And so if you're giving Lauri Markkanen up, you need compensation at a high level. But anyways, Kevin O'Connor said it's so astronomical he doubts he's available. Collin Sexton could be had, but you're going to have to pay because he is playing at a all-star level right now. Just flat out. He's playing so well. So well. And so it's just, you know, Danny Ainge, and this is a good mentality to have. No one's untouchable. No one's untouchable. And, you know, I wonder if that got blown out of proportion a little bit, although it sounds like there's a lot of GMs trying, but are being told, like, yeah, you can have him, but it's going to cost you the farm and a leg. And they just don't, you know, I just doubt a lot of teams want to do all that. I mean, the only team I could see is Oklahoma City. It really is the only team I could see being able to cobble something together and have it be worth it. Anyways, I just think these guys are going to probably stay. The starting unit's running well. And then what you can do is you can have Keyonte George running the show with Taylor Hendricks getting minutes, and it's going to be awesome. You're going to have more Keyonte George driving the basket. He's going to do more of this. He's been a little neutered the last 20 games, and it's fine because Clarkson and Olynyk are playing well. But I don't think there's going to be any drop-off whatsoever, especially when you consider, like, Kelly Olynyk, what you lose offensively, you gain back in defense with Taylor Hendricks, and you're not losing any shooting, by the way. Hendricks can absolutely shoot the lights out, you know. And you can have a 3-guard rotation with Sexton, Dunn, and Keyonte where they're moving the ball around, So, and who knows what you get back. And by the way, this Preston kid for the Salt Lake City Stars is looking freaking awesome. Like, looking absolutely awesome. And also, don't forget, Bryce Sensabaugh. If there's an injury, why not play Bryce a little bit? He can score the ball too. So I just think you got to think, can we get some picks, get some more things, more bites at that apple to hopefully get that third or that just prime 1A star that the Jazz need. KO to Ochai Agbaji, $2. Markup Markkanen. That's great. Yes, it is markup in IL Jazz on all Markkanen sales. This is not a blue light special like Kmart. This is this is called the, I don't know, what is it called in a store when things are marked up? I guess markup Markkanen. I don't know. But thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. You are very generous. Thank you so much. Let's see. I think that's about it. Yeah. Taylor Hendricks, Johnny Juzang, Mike. Yeah, these are all Bryce Sensabaugh. They did not play. I would have liked to see him play, but it's going to take trade deadline, I think. A purple light special. There you go. But anyways, I just think that's probably the direction they want to go, and that's just my opinion. That's probably what I would do. Because, you know what? Kelly Olynyk's playing well. I don't believe... I mean, you never know. It would be funny if the Jazz just went and won the championship. Wouldn't that be amazing? But I don't think that's going to happen. I do think they can make the playoffs, and I don't think there's a big enough drop-off by bringing on Hendricks and playing Keyonte. At this point, Keyonte can just munch on second units, especially when a lot of teams are going to be resting and tanking and all this stuff. Let Hendricks come in, build some confidence, And you might screw around and find out Keontae's an absolute superstar that's not having to defer to these guys that are being, Kelly Olynyk not passing the ball is being kind of weird. So I wouldn't mind moving him and Jordan Clarkson, even though I love Jordan Clarkson and he's fantastic. And, this is just a guess. It may not happen at all. They may not do anything. But the reports are the Jazz are going to be active. We'll just see what it ends up being. All right, we've talked playoffs. We've talked players. We've talked the win. We've talked advanced stats. We've talked next game. I think it's just time to give a shout out to the All-Stars. By the way, while I pull up the music, if you haven't already, can you like and subscribe to the channel? If you're a Jazz fan and you haven't already, what you doing? Best Jazz channel, best Jazz podcast, best Jazz whatever out there. And if you'd like to be a part of the super chat and all that, let's see, which I just lost. There we go. Join the channel. Just go to join and hit it, and I would appreciate it. It supports everything, and it's just amazing. I should probably sit in view. I'm just scared I'm going to run over a cord and unplug it like we did earlier in the year. All right, let's give a shout out to our All-Stars. Let's give a shout out to Dirty Jazz Car Wash Channel, Just Buckets JB, Baby Elliott Matson, Dangerous Danger FC, Christian House Money to Haas, The Outlaw Jesse James Nelson, All the Josh You Need, Just Josh in Your Pod, Brian Perry, The Legend, Ezekiel Raicibe, The Man from Down Under, Yes Jake C. Can, See Ya, Alexa Later, Built for Tough Alexander Tufts, Jorge Arrizaga Mimigo de Abajo, Jordan the Goat Bessroll, TGD Total Game Domination, Tyson Price, The Price is Right, Austin R. Grant, Editor Extraordinaire, KO to Ochai Agbaji, Patrick Akubo, The Connoisseur, and Robert Hall of Fame. Like I said, guys, like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Dunk the like button. I agree. And if you haven't already, go to Price Picks. It's a lot of fun. Bet the under on bad rebounders against the Jazz. Bet the over if the number is nice for Collin Sexton. Right now, it's easy money. All right, guys, I will talk to you